Hey, this is Dan, and before we get to our thoughts on Saltburn, we did want to let you know that our break is drawing to a close and we are back on the main feed on the 18th of December with a brand new season and a brand new theme. This time we are covering 8 folklore movies running from the 18th of December until the 5th of February 2024. Now, during our breaks, we do continue to post reviews of brand new movies over on our Patreon page. All of the links are in the description. So if you miss hearing us between seasons, head over there for extra content and an always growing back catalogue of reviews and the end of season wrap shows. We do promise to deliver a bare minimum of 2 reviews of brand new movies every single month, but we're exceeding that at the moment. So you'll get access to all of that, all of our archive, end of season wrap shows, all that for £3 a month with no minimum commitment. Cancel anytime you like. There's a new free tier on Patreon now as well, where if you sign up to that, you'll be able to get access to our season lineups and find out what we're covering over those 8 weeks. If Patreon's not your thing and you still want to help us out, that would be great. Leave us a 5-star review or rating wherever you listen and hang out, listening to your podcast. Tell a friend about an episode or tell a friend about the podcast in general, and then get them to rate it 5 stars on that player as well. That would be really useful. Or just come and follow us on social media at STH_pod, pretty much everywhere. The main ones being Instagram, X, we use a little bit every now and again. I sometimes post random nonsense on threads, usually after a few beers. We've got a YouTube channel as well. Come check that out, where we post our podcast episodes, and on our TikTok as well, again at STH_pod. With most episodes, we'll create a clip with some fun animations in. And if not, then we hope that you stick around and listen to the podcast anyway. The Vivitch next week, 18th of December, and then 7 more folklore movies after that. So yeah, but for now, our thoughts on Saltburn. Right, so Saltburn spoiler. Saltburn non-spoiler. What are we doing?
Can we do a spoiler-free episode?
You want to do spoiler-free?
Let's try.
Okay. So this is a spoiler-free episode.
Yeah.
I think we've got to say whether or not it's spoiler-free episode.
Yeah, of course.
Up front. So it's spoiler-free.
Yeah.
Unless it's not, and then we'll say.
And then we'll re-edit
in the
this
title and say.
And you won't hear
like
any of
we
this
did with
bit.
the last one. We'll say we say spoiler-free, but actually it's not.
Actually, we're big, huge liars.
Doo-doos.
Doo-doo heads. Yeah.
So, brand new movie, obviously, 2023, directed by Emerald Fennell. Fennell?
Honestly, I don't know. I've been saying Fennell, but then the food is fennel. So it's very confusing. The English language is very confusing.
Yeah, so obviously Emerald Fennell directed
Promising Young Woman,
which was great.
Yeah, which we both loved.
Yeah, so a lot to live up to in terms of that. And probably unfairly or fairly, this movie's been compared to that, I guess.
It's bound to.
It's bound to. It was such a, I wouldn't say divisive film, but like quite a shocking, different kind of film, wasn't it?
I would call it divisive.
Yeah.
I've seen very few lukewarm reactions to it, but I've seen a few people say they absolutely can't stand it.
What, Promising Young Woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is wild to me, but
yeah, that's mental.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah. So Saltburn, you've seen this twice, so you must like it.
I did. Yeah.
I've seen this once, and I'm not seeing it twice.
Ever? You don't think you'll ever revisit this?
I don't really see a reason to.
Oh,
okay.
I thought
it was a bit of a drag, particularly the third act.
Wow. Okay.
But I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. But there's some bits that I really liked. I really liked the performances of everybody, really. Barry Keoghan, obviously, old mate from Gran Turismo, who's on fire at the moment.
He's in everything, yeah.
And what else is he in Midsummer?
He's in Midsummer, yeah. Archie Madekwe.
Okay.
Jacob Elordi from Euphoria.
I don't know. Oh, that's who he is.
He's the absolute... I was going to say he's the arsehole in Euphoria, but that doesn't really narrow it down, does it?
Oh, well, I've only seen a few episodes of that, but yeah. I knew I recognised him, but I couldn't place it. Is he also playing Elvis Presley?
Yeah, in Priscilla.
Priscilla movie, yeah.
He's having a bit of a year as well.
Yeah.
And Barry Keoghan's all over the place.
Yeah, but they're all great. And and the parents as well, Richard E. Grant and Rosamund Pike.
I wish Rosamund Pike was in more stuff. She was phenomenal in this. She had most of the funniest lines, I would say.
But she's always great.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a Rosamund Pike film, even if I don't love it. She's not great in it.
She's the highlight, even if it's a mediocre film.
Yeah, obviously Gone Girl I'm thinking of, which actually is not a million miles away from this movie, actually, funnily
It
enough.
has some commonalities, yeah.
Yeah, some similar threads there. She was in that movie I watched recently called I Care a Lot. And that was really good, actually. I enjoyed that a lot more than I thought I would. I thought that was excellent.
Okay.
And she was great. So, yeah, you can't go wrong. And like you said, she was funny. She had some sort of quite funny dialogue alongside Richard E. Grant as well, who was just a bit silly, but his lines were delivered really well and funny.
I think one of my favourite Rosamund Pike lines in this film was she was talking about being on the Britpop scene when she was a little bit younger, and she said that lots of people thought Common People was written about her, but she recited some of the lines and said, you know, the bit about she had a thirst for knowledge, and then follows it up with, couldn't be me, I've never wanted to know anything.
I missed that. I didn't catch that one, I don't think.
There's a lot of really kind of absurd and dark humour peppered throughout that I really, really enjoyed. But yeah, it's set in 2006. Is it 2006 or 2007?
2006.
2006, which is, we're constantly reminded of that via...
The Killer soundtrack.
MGMT,
Yeah.
all sorts from that period. They were watching Superbad at one point.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff to clue us into the time period. It was also, can you remember which ratio it was filmed in?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
It was more boxy.
If it looks square.
Yeah, it wasn't the 4:3.
It wasn't square shaped, the screen.
But that was a curious choice.
It was a different shape, was it?
It was, yeah.
I did not even notice that. It wasn't like the real cinema shape, the rectangle.
No.
It was a square.
Closer to a square than a rectangle.
The whole movie was?
Yes.
like Justice League.
There are very few things this film has in common with Justice League, but sure.
Oh, well, okay. Christ, maybe I should watch it again.
Maybe you should. Did you do a snooze? It wouldn't be unlike you to do a snooze.
I did a little bit of a snooze.
I knew it.
A little bit. Not much, not a big snooze. Just like a minute or something.
Okay.
I think that was maybe in the middle of the movie, but I didn't miss anything. Maybe it was that joke that I missed, actually.
Maybe.
Which made all the difference.
I, unlike you, really enjoyed this film throughout. I thought it was really compelling. I thought the performances really anchored it. I don't think there were any sort of big twists or revelations in this movie. I'm keeping it spoiler free, don't worry. But the way it played out wasn't 100% anticipated. I'll say that.
Okay.
There were some places it went to that I did not predict. A lot of people have mentioned specific scenes, particularly on things like TikTok, which I found quite amusing because the Gen Z audience is kind of aghast at some of the stuff that was included in this. But I guess as a horror fan, you've kind of seen it all. So I wouldn't say any of it was particularly shocking, but there was some stuff in there that I've never seen before. One scene in particular.
There's a bunch of stuff that I hadn't seen before. I didn't find it particularly surprising.
Or groundbreaking.
Yeah. I thought it was, for what it was done well. It looked amazing.
Apparently
it was a square and I didn't even notice.
You were so distracted by the perfect compositions.
Yeah, but the time period, the setting of it, all of the characters, everything they're saying to each other for the first, I would say, hour and 45 minutes was all excellent.
But you have an issue with the last half an hour, do you?
I do have an issue with the last half an hour. And when I say it was excellent, it was excellently done, just not really... I found it entertaining enough. Like, if I hadn't seen it before and I went round a relative's house and they put this on Christmas Day after dinner, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. I'll probably have a bit of a sleep.
I would not want to watch this with my family. That would be quite an uncomfortable viewing, I think.
Would it?
Yeah.
Perhaps you and I have very different families.
We need to have a larger conversation about this after the show.
Yeah.
Something you said yesterday, actually, that I think warrants bringing up is you compared it to like 90s sort of erotic thrillers.
Yeah, kind of straight to TV, kind of, we're going to do a big thing. It's not a spoiler.
But yeah, racking your brains trying to think of something that wouldn't give it away.
More 90s thrillery. I definitely put it more in line with that. Like I said, already mentioned Gone Girl, but without the Fincheriness. Not that this isn't done well. I think it is done well.
Yeah.
It's just more of a taste thing. I think I'd rather be watching Gone Girl than this.
Oh, yeah, I would say Gone Girl is a superior movie, but I also think like comparing it directly is kind of a stretch. They're similar in tone, I suppose.
I think it's just because Rosamund Pike is in both.
Yeah.
Of them.
It's just at the front of your
it
mind
is a
at
bit
the
of a
moment.
stretch, so it's right there. I'm sure there are other comparisons. Name me any 90s, like you say, erotic thriller. Even if they're done well, they're kind of just not really for me.
Yeah. So obviously the film is called Saltburn, but the title refers to the stately home that most of the film takes place in, which kind of surprises me that it's not more your sort of thing, because you love like a stuck in a place movie.
And I like a good old takedown of elites, quote unquote elites of society. So there is maybe that's the only reason that I kind of had some enjoyment of it, because of the isolation of it, kind of. But it doesn't really feel like isolation because they're all there of their own sort of by their own choice.
I guess so, yeah. But you can, despite not having enjoyed it too much, you can recognise how well made it is.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Because I think a lot of people are, there's very little fence sitting with this one. It seems like a lot of people are of the mind that Emerald Fennell was sort of feeling the pressure to one-up herself from Promising Young Woman and failed, or the camp of people who think she bettered herself, that she did succeed. But you fall in...
Well, I much prefer Promising Young Woman.
Okay.
But that's a tricky question to ask. Usually I will score films purely on my enjoyment and what I thought about them. For instance, I scored the Rennie Harlin movie Driven 4 stars just the other day. Which
is insane.
But it's not a 4-star movie, clearly, but I like it a lot and enjoy it.
You like it rubbish. 4 stars worth?
Yeah. So most of the time I'll try to score movies just based on my own enjoyment, but sometimes I struggle with that. And I think I struggle with that here, because if I was going to give it, in terms of my enjoyment, what I would give it is maybe like a 2.
Oh, wow. A 2?
1.5 or a 2.
That's bad.
But I don't think that's fair to the movie. I think it's way better made than that. So it probably sort of balances out to about a 3. Like, I wouldn't, I don't particularly want to sit down and watch this again. But if you said to me one day, I really want to watch Saltburn, I would love to sit down and watch it again. Okay, fine, put it on.
I mean, that will happen because I loved it.
I'm not going to kick up a massive stink about it, but I might just go, do you know what? I might go on my phone a bit or go and do a toilet or something, and you don't have to pause it.
Or you'll make me watch Driven as penance.
Yeah. That's the only way we're watching this again.
Oh, no.
Double bill with Saltburn and Driven.
Okay. That's the weirdest double bill of all time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess all that's left to say is that I vehemently disagree. For me, it's a strong 4 stars.
So
I'm super excited to see what Emerald Fennell does next.
Me too. The vision in both of these movies was confident and bold and different.
Yeah.
Although there are similarities with older movies, with this one does have its own identity for sure. So this is on a level with Promising Young Woman for you?
I think I still prefer Promising Young Woman, but they're close.
Yeah.
They're close.